Hello everyone, welcome to Nerdgasm. Today we are going to break down Darlings movie starring Alia Bhatt, Vijay Verma and my personal favorite, Chef Ali Shah. So a spoiler warning is in effect obviously. Please go ahead and watch the movie on Netflix if you haven't already watched and come back here later to let me know what you found interesting and what could have been better in the movie in the comments below. The movie starts with a song which aptly describes the situation Alia's character Badru is in. She is hopelessly in love with Vijay Verma's character Hamza and can't help herself despite all his flaws. Here, Badru is seen dropping off from a city bus, heading towards the cinema, buying two movie tickets and buying two kulfis as well. This indicates that Badru can handle herself well enough when alone, contrary to what was stated by Hamza during the climax, saying she wouldn't be able to survive without him. Once Hamza arrives to the cinema, he mentions that he got late due to the interview and announces that he had landed a government job. With the sudden news, Badru seemed delighted but oblivious, which means she was unaware of Hamza's professional activities. This indicates that Hamza did not involve Badru in her professional life from the get go, confirming his patriarchal mindset that women should just be homemakers. After this, he seemed visibly irritated and asked Badru to get rid of her pony, which she does happily. I believe this is a crucial moment because Badru preferred to have a pony as she was seen in one in the beginning, but since Hamza doesn't like it, she got rid of it just for the sake of her relationship. After this, she was never seen in a pony until she decided to fight back for her self respect. After this, the movie jumps 3 years forward. Now Badru and Hamza are married and living in a chawl. And cut to the scene where Badru is serving dinner to Hamza. Here the creators decided to keep all the background noises of vehicles humming and honking, doorbells and telephones ringing, a cricket match going on a TV in the background. I believe this was a fascinating choice which indicates that the fantasy world of love and infatuation where the songs are playing in the background is left behind and they are back in the real world. One more interesting thing is the background noises stop as soon as Hamza chews on a stone. This means that all the background noises are irrelevant for Badru since the atmosphere is so tensed up. After this, Hamza starts thrashing Badru, and all the thrashing is heard by the parlor lady downstairs, which she chooses to ignore. This indicates that there is nothing new in this, and Badru as well as people of the chawl are used to this by now. Cut to the next morning where Badru is busy in her chores and Hamza is getting ready for office. Now, this is where the toxic and unapologetic nature of Hamza is revealed. Because even though he hasn't had a breakfast yet, and even though he thinks that all the suffering of Badru is caused by him being an alcoholic, he shamelessly chugs up a peg despite the last night's frenzy. This is further reaffirmed when Hamza tries to console Badru. He mentions that this is totally normal in a marriage and doesn't even apologize for his actions. Similar events transpired in the case of finger injury later. He even tries to blame Badru for not being mature and understanding, which I feel was totally outrageous. Now, one continuity detail I would like to highlight here is the bruise on Badru's neck doesn't just disappear. It stays for some time and is also shown on the screen when she goes to meet her Khala and when Zulfi is selling household items to Khala, acted beautifully by Chef Ali Shah. In addition to that, the continuity remained intact with the finger injury and the injuries of the fall as well. Now, one more beating later, the carefree nature with which Khala suggests Badru to kill Hamza as if she was just explaining a recipe seemed a bit suspicious. Evidently so, it was later revealed that she had gone through similar circumstances and she had to resort to drastic measures such as these. This was indeed a nice touch, and the revelation is a great example of show and don't tell. Not a single dialogue was used to expose such a big twist, it was purely accomplished via screenplay, which is brilliant. Now cut to police station where Zulfi has complained about domestic violence against Badru. Notice how Hamza tells Badru that he will quit drinking once the baby is born. and completely omits the part of liver cirrhosis, due to which he doesn't have a choice but to quit alcohol. This showcases his opportunistic and conniving personality. And even though his career and life is on the line, he is still unapologetic and shows zero accountability for his actions. And the placement of the Medak or Bichu story as an accurate metaphor to explain the situation by Khala to Badru was an icing on the cake in terms of writing. Now observe how police officer reacts when Badru retracts her complaint in the hope of salvaging what's left of her marriage. As if the police handle such cases on daily basis, which is unfortunately true in India for lower middle class families. This was a fine job from writing and acting perspectives. Talking about acting, I think Vijay Verma did a fantastic job in showcasing the vengeance burning slowly but steadily like a scarlet flame inside Hamza. Notice how he is constantly in the pursuit of the one who filed the complaint while going about his daily life as if nothing has happened. There was a huge possibility of this coming across as hammy and loud, but the writing and acting were too good for it to happen. Talking about Vijay Verma, I think he really knocked it out of the park when Hamza ultimately finds out about who filed the complaint. The conversation between him and Zulfi on the scooter sent chills down my spine. Now, the events which unfolded after the fall in the form of dark comedy was a clever choice from writers. I think this decision saved the predictable second half from coming across as too long. The highlight for me during the second half was the camera work, especially the use of Dutch angle when unconscious Hamza is being transported and Badru is contemplating what she had to go through to finally come to her senses. Skipping to climax, considering the history of Bollywood, I think we can safely assume that if railway tracks are shown in the climax, someone is definitely going to get crushed under a train. In this case, I was afraid it was going to be Badru, considering the dark nature of the movie. But I think the writers purposefully avoided the climax since this movie is ultimately a satire. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe and let me know in the comments which movie or show I should do next.